We got to talk about the Acolyte, right, Jay?
Sure.
It wouldn't be a Geeks and Gamers stream over the past 5 weeks if we didn't somehow mention the Acolyte. Still holding strong at 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, but we've seen the media desperately try to play damage control with this thing, whether they're blaming review bombing. The Acolyte's low Rotten Tomatoes shows Star Wars fans at their worst. Even though it's justifiable what we're seeing happen. There's so many reasons to hate this show, not just the identity politics. That's like 5th or 6th on the list of bad things that are wrong with this series. It's just a dog shit show. But remember when they tried to tell us what a massive success it was? First, they thought, well, it's the best performing series of 2024, of which they've released nothing of note. Congratulations on being the smartest retard, the tallest midget. That's basically what that claim is to. And then we found out that not only was it not impressive views-wise, it's the least watched series in the history of Disney Star Wars projects. Because before that, it was Ahsoka. Ahsoka had the worst premiere we'd seen. Now, that title belonged to the Acolyte. But just how bad was it? 11.11 million views in the first 5 days compared to Ahsoka's 14 million. What does that really mean? Well, now we're seeing actual viewership numbers, and it's really fucking bad. Jeez. The Acolyte viewership declines for a second week in a row, nearly a 60% decline from Ahsoka. Now, this is coming to us from a fairly new service that's been out there. We know Nielsen. We know the Nielsen numbers. We know the Nielsen numbers take 4 weeks or so, over a month, to actually get the tangible data. So we actually have not seen it appear yet, as of yet, on the Nielsen official ratings. But Luminate is a service that does similar thing. Variety uses them and puts these numbers out. Look at this. This is for the week of June 21st through June 27th. The Acolyte. Total minutes watched, 232 million.
Jeez.
The previous week estimated at 262 million. So you do see the numbers are continuing to decline, but just think about that in comparison. What did it start at? Because that first, the 2-episode premiere, Ahsoka on the Nielsen ratings was up around 700 million, 800 million minutes watched for 2 episodes in that premiere. That was bad enough. The Acolyte was sitting in the 300 minutes watch time frame. Like, we're talking about something that has fallen off so hard that when it comes to people actually viewing this, it's almost nothing. Like, this number, the only reason it's ranked number 9 is because they're talking about original programming,
right?
Not acquired programming. Because if I go right now to the top 10, look at this: Grey's Anatomy, Bluey, Young Sheldon, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, let's see,
reruns.
Part 2. Yeah, yes, reruns of shit. These are all the things that are dominating the actual streaming numbers. 200 million minutes watched wouldn't come close to the top 10.
Jeez.
Now, if I do go to original, it gets a little bit different. It would probably, if it held true, if it held to those numbers, and we saw this play out for the next couple of weeks, it would probably slot in there 8th or 9th or something like that. But this is horrifically bad for a show that you spent $200 million on, where there's almost nothing else. Like, at the time that it premiered, this was before House of the Dragon came out, before The Boys came out. There was really not much competition. But this is just fucking embarrassing for them.
Yeah, and I love when I think that first week when they posted the numbers, everything was according to Disney. They worded it so well to make it sound like it was like the best show of 2024.
And it tricked a lot of people.
Yeah. So there was a lot of like word vomit in that. Like, according to Disney, in 2024, the Acolyte had the best viewage by this number and that. It's so weird how they tried to spin it. There's no spin in this, man. It's just, my videos are filled with people in the comments saying, I ain't watching the show, but I love hearing people talk about it. So it's like, I'm enjoying people talking about it more than ever watching the show. So maybe that's what's going on. People are like, they're just waiting to see what people have to say, and enjoying that as far as their Acolyte entertainment than actually watching the show. You would think that after that super impressive lightsaber episode 5, they might have gotten a little bounce. People might come back, but
we'll see what those numbers end up being.
Obviously, yeah.
But like, there's people that are trying to use these things and say it's a success. Look at this article.
Yeah.
The Acolyte viewership suggests negative fan reviews didn't negatively impact interest.
Where did they get this stuff?
And they're using this one. This is the premiere week, right? Where they had 380 million minutes watched. Compare that to Ahsoka, which with its 2-episode premiere had around like 800 million minutes watched. Now, the Ahsoka episodes were a little bit longer, so you can, give that a little bit of credit. But overall, you're talking about almost half as many people watching this. It's an embarrassment. And they're doing it because, look, it made it in the top 10 of original programming.
Right.
Couldn't crack that's not going to crack the actual top 10.
Right.
It's not what you spend $200 million on a Star Wars project for, is to be buried and not even make the actual top 10 list. This is sad and pathetic, but it's trying to be spun by a lot of
So
people.
basically, old rerun shows are doing much better than this original program.
Yeah, and there is like context required, right? If there's 250 episodes of Grey's Anatomy out there for people to watch, then it makes a lot more sense as opposed to only 5 episodes of The Acolyte to watch. But you have to keep that context with all of these things that come out, including when we get Star Wars projects that get second seasons, like The Mandalorian. All of the numbers for The Mandalorian that would come out in season 3, you had to factor in, well, there might be another 100 million minutes of people that are just watching reruns or catching up on the show or things like that. So it's one of the problems with streaming in general, is it's so difficult to kind of pin down, what do you think a success should be? Well, all I can go is based off what Disney Star Wars has done previously. And after the failure that was Ahsoka, right, in terms of disappointment to them, this is now getting views that are approximately, now that we've seen the first weekend go by, approximately half of what Ahsoka got.
Yeah, people have
and
just
they're spending
walked away.
$200 million on it. It's really bad.